Werewolves, beings capable of transforming into something they fundamentally are not. They include both animals and humans. The word werewolf carries a rich semantic range. It's often applied to describe corrupt police officers covering up crimes and excessively cruel individuals. In the past, werewolves were known as dangerous animals, both wild and domestic, distinguished by their bloodthirsty nature. One of these is the Beast of Gevaudan. Let's talk about it. The name Beast of Gevaudan was derived from its place of habitation, the province of Gevaudan, currently the department of Lozère, located in the south of France, in the Margeride Mountains, on the border between the regions of Languedoc and Auvergne. Historically, the Beast of Gevaudan isn't exactly a werewolf in the literal sense of the word, but rather a creature resembling a gigantic wolf. It's mentioned as a werewolf in certain sources, not devoid of mystification. This version has appealed to enthusiasts of the paranormal, who have popularized it considerably. However, this fact does not diminish the importance of the Beast of Gevaudan as an object for study. Furthermore, the mystification allows us to consider yet another interesting and unusual version of the ontogenesis of this creature. Who knows? Perhaps this version might turn out to be true. Pursuing the truth is precisely what we'll engage in within this video. On the 1st of June in 1764, peasants in the French province of Gevaudan were alarmed by news of an animal attacking people. An elderly peasant woman, tending to her cows near the forest, witnessed a large wolf-like creature emerging from the bushes. The animal, clearly with aggressive intent, headed straight for the woman, and it would have ended badly if her herd hadn't come to her aid. Bulls, lowering their horns, charged at the wolf, forcing it to retreat. The peasant recounted that the wolf looked unusually strange. It had an oversized head, reddish fur with patches, and a somehow off tail. As there were no fatalities, the minor incident was quickly forgotten. However, less than a month later in the same area, the body of a 14-year-old girl was found. Bite marks on her face and chest left no doubt that the culprit behind the death was a large wolf. Following this incident, attacks by the beast on people became more frequent. Gradually, the villagers and local hunters began to understand the modus operandi of the killer beast. The wolf displayed a clear intelligence. It rarely attacked men, especially if they had pitchforks or other agricultural tools with them. When the victim was tending a herd, the creature ignored the goats or sheep, focusing solely on humans. Its attacks were also different from those of regular wolves. It didn't aim to sever the victim's throat or tear their arm off. Dubbed the Beast of Gevaudan by local and Parisian journalists, the killer beast attempted to lunge directly at a person's face. Those lucky enough to survive recounted that the beast sometimes stood on its hind legs and struck the person's chest with its front paws. Witnesses also provided detailed descriptions of the beast. According to their accounts, it was as large as a horse, had black patches on its reddish fur, and had a dark stripe along its back. The tail was unlike a typical wolf's. It had a tuft at the end, which the predator would swish around. Reddish-brown with dark ridged stripe down the back. Resembles wolf hyena but big as a donkey. Long gaping jaw, 6 claws, pointy upright ears, and supple furry tail. Mobile like a cat's and can knock you over. Cry. More like horse neighing than wolf howling. Terrifying rumors spread across the entire south of France. Wolves very rarely attacked people, and if they did, it was only in packs. A lone wolf, fond of human flesh, undoubtedly a werewolf or a spawn of hell. It was rumored that someone had seen a person lying in wait for the beast in the bushes. Without a doubt, this was a sorcerer, directing their terrifying weapon against good Christians. By the end of autumn in 1764, the number of the beast's victims had reached 27. To quell the panic prevailing in the region, the governor of the Languedoc region dispatched a squadron of dragoons to Gevaudan. 56 cavalrymen, supported by local hunters and peasants, combed through the forest for several weeks. Although they killed around 100 wolves, they couldn't find the one. Unexpectedly, hunting luck smiled upon 2 peasants returning from the hunt. A massive reddish wolf sprang out of the undergrowth straight at them. The men didn't hesitate and fired at the predator from a distance of no more than 8 meters. Both bullets hit their mark, but the beast rose and fled into the woods, leaving a bloody trail. The peasants chased after it but stopped upon finding the torn fresh corpse of a young boy not far from the edge of the forest. After this attack, assaults on people ceased, and the people of Gevaudan concluded that the wounded beast had died somewhere in the thickets. However, winter arrived, and the list of victims quickly grew. The whole of France was shaken by the dramatic news of children battling a terrifying wolf. On January 12th, 13-year-old Jacques Portefa, with a group of 7 girls and boys, encountered a huge wolf. The children didn't panic and began pelting the predator with stones and clods of frozen earth. The beast clearly didn't expect such determined resistance and fled into the woods, where it killed a boy from a nearby village a few hours later. Parisian newspapers wrote about Jacques Portefa's feat, and King Louis XV himself ordered to reward the young hero with a substantial sum of 300 livres. By the end of the year, the number of beast attacks had neared 150, with 55 people torn apart by the creature. To calm the panic in the southern French provinces, Louis XV ordered his best hunters to be sent to Gevaudan. At the end of the winter of 1765, father and son Denneval, credited with shooting over 1,000 wolves, arrived at the scenes of the atrocities. The renowned beast hunters spent 6 months searching for the monster's trail, and on August 9th organized a grand hunt involving a company of soldiers and 600 local peasants. This mass of people scared off the animals for kilometers around, but as if to mock them, the beast attacked a young girl the next day. Fortunately, she managed to fend it off. These illustrious hunters did depart empty-handed. In their place, Louis sent a new celebrity to Gevaudan, lieutenant of the royal hunt, François-Antoine de Beauterne, holder of the splendid courtly title, bearer of the monarch's personal arquebus. De Beauterne, accompanied by his own pack of wolfhounds, commenced the systematic combing of the surrounding forests, resulting in the announcement of killing several hundred ordinary wolves. The lieutenant scheduled a large hunt for September 20th. The peasants no longer believed in the effectiveness of such mass events, so only 40 volunteers responded to de Beauterne's call. The dogs came across an unusually large wolf, whom de Beauterne immediately shot in the shoulder. The beast fell for a second, but then rose again. Another hunter shot and hit the wolf in the eye, but it rose once more and lunged at the lieutenant. A volley sounded, and the gigantic predator fell for the 3rd time, this time for good. The hunters had no doubt that the Gevaudan beast lay at their feet. The wolf was undeniably large. They immediately took measurements. The animal stood at 80 centimeters in height, and from nose to tail tip, it measured 170 centimeters. Rags of red fabric were found in the torn belly, a clear proof of the creature's cannibalistic tendencies. While everyone celebrated the victory, there was a minor incident that went unnoticed. Among the volunteers were 57-year-old hunter Jean Chastel and his sons Pierre and Adrien. Immediately after the wolf's killing, the brothers inexplicably got into a fight. De Beauterne ordered the discipline breakers to be arrested, and the Chastel brothers, along with their father, were sent to jail where they spent 2 months. Naturally, this minor issue couldn't overshadow the joy of victory. The wolf's carcass was made into a stuffed specimen, which the lieutenant took to Versailles and presented to the king as proof of his hunting triumph. The enormous specimen was named the Wolf of Chazes, after the village near which the beast was shot. Impressed, Louis generously rewarded his lieutenant. The attacks on people in Gevaudan came to an end. 2 months later, the Gevaudan beast once again commenced its bloody hunt. On December 2nd, it attacked 2 children, and a week later, severely wounded 2 women. Panic erupted with renewed intensity. Surviving witnesses described the same reddish fur with patches and a long tail. It went unnoticed that the new series of attacks began just a few days after the Chastel family completed their time in jail. The creature's assaults occurred every 1 to 2 weeks. Over the winter, spring, and summer of 1766, 41 people fell victim to its fangs. By now, the people of Gevaudan couldn't count on help from Paris. The king, admiring the stuffed wolf from Chazes, considered the problem solved and paid no attention to the new panic in the south of his kingdom. In November, the beast suddenly stopped attacking people. It disappeared for 4 months. It was strange because no large-scale hunts were conducted in the autumn, and no one claimed to have killed a large wolf. The residents of Gevaudan spent the winter in relative tranquility. With the onset of spring, the attacks resumed. On March 2, 1767, a little boy was killed. It seemed that the creature had hibernated somewhere, gathered fresh strength, and roamed freely in the spring. In April, the wolf lunged at people 8 times, and in May, 19 times. As summer began, local residents started conducting hunts on their own. On June 19th, Jean Chastel took part in one, whose niece had been maimed by the predator 2 weeks prior. However, according to other hunters, Jean's behavior was somewhat peculiar. He loaded his rifle with a bullet he had cast from silver and blessed in the church. Stepping onto the edge of the forest, Jean knelt down and loudly read from the Bible he had brought along. Suddenly, a massive beast emerged from the bushes and headed straight for him. The creature was approaching the kneeling hunter, swaying its long tail slightly. Chastel raised the rifle and fired at the wolf at close range. Immediately, he reloaded the musket with a second silver bullet and fired a control shot. The Gevaudan beast was killed. Measurements revealed that this creature was smaller than the wolf from Chaz's. It measured 99 centimeters from its ears to the base of its tail. The size of its fearsome jaws, which had terrified the entire region, measured 19 centimeters. The freshly slain beast didn't resemble an ordinary wolf much. Local seasoned hunters had never seen such elongated front paws, a stretched skull, and protruding curved fangs. However, the gray-reddish fur with dark patches and a dark stripe along the back was a clear characteristic of the Gevaudan beast. Additionally, semi-digested human remains were found in its stomach. For several days, the man-eater's corpse was paraded with reverence through the surrounding villages. The weather was hot, and soon the hunting trophy began to emit a strong odor. A local taxidermist hastily stuffed it, and the specimen was sent to Versailles. However, upon its arrival at the royal palace, the stench of the Gevaudan beast was so repulsive that Louis demanded its immediate disposal from a distance. The beast's specimen was hastily incinerated. Due to this embarrassment, Jean Chastel did not receive the royal grace. Only the grateful local residents collected a modest reward of 72 livres for the hunter. Over 3 years, while the predator roamed in Languedoc, it attacked people more than 300 times. Fangs of the beast claimed the lives of 123 individuals, leaving 51 others maimed. By the summer of 1767, the people in Languedoc ceased to fear the monster. Nevertheless, questions remained. Who was the man-eating creature that terrorized several regions for 3 years? Contemporary scientists have several theories. Some believe that several wolves were attacking people. One was killed in the autumn of 1764, another was shot by de Beauterne, a third fell into someone's trap in the autumn of 1766, and the last one was destroyed by Chastel. This theory is contradicted by the examination of the corpse of the beast killed by Jean, where pellets were found in the animal's leg, fired at the creature at the very beginning of its bloody career. Other historians believe that the Gevaudan beast could have been an exotic animal that escaped from a traveling menagerie. Suspected animals include a hyena, a young manless lion, or even a jaguar. Each of these animals exhibit certain behaviors similar to the conduct of the Gevaudan monster. However, none of these African or Asian inhabitants completely matches the description of the Languedoc horror. Finally, many point towards the enigmatic Chastel family. They lived in seclusion and did not socialize with the local peasants. Adrien, Jean's younger son, was once held captive by Algerian pirates and spent several years in Africa, where he could have brought home some exotic predator. However, this secret might not have remained hidden from their neighbors, even distant ones. There are reports that Jean had his own pack of unusually large dogs with which he hunted alone. It is possible he was engaged in crossbreeding dogs with wolves. One of the resulting wolf dogs might have escaped into the woods and started hunting independently. The domestic origin of this beast explains why it did not fear people, boldly attack them, and did not fall for cunning traps. It's also understandable why the animal, recognizing Jean Chastel's voice, came out of the forest, wagging its tail. It simply recognized the voice of its master. According to the most exotic version, The Chastel themselves incited their own monster to attack people. Allegedly, misanthropic recluses so hated the human race that they bred a special breed of man-eating dogs. Supporters of this hypothesis refer to the accounts of those who supposedly saw a human figure next to the beast. They also point out that the attack stopped during the Chastel's arrest and resumed after their return home. In 2001, a certain naturalist, Michel Louis, even suggested that the creature's unusual coloration was explained by a wild boar's skin stretched onto a large dog. However, this naturalist did not explain how the animal could hunt or even move while wearing another animal's skin. According to supporters of the Chastel's involvement in the massacres, Jean realized the horror of what he had done only after his young relative was attacked by the hound of the Baskervilles. Only then did he decide to kill the creature that he himself had bred. All of these are nothing more than speculations. The true identity of the Gevaudan beast will forever remain a mystery. Today, this scientifically unknown creature has become the main attraction of Languedoc, appearing on coats of arms, signs of inns and hotels, and generating thousands of souvenirs on the shelves of gift shops.